Welcome to the San Antonio Snap Count. Tonight, myself, producer, is here with the head coach of the San Antonio Toros, Coach Bedwell. Welcome. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. It's been a busy 3 days, but really exciting. Really enjoying it.
Well, we appreciate you being here tonight. We wanted to give the fans of the San Antonio Toros a chance to get to know you, a little bit about you, and what your coaching experience, what has led you to this point. So, just wanted to give you that opportunity to kind of introduce yourself and tell the fans a little bit about yourself.
I don't know if I'm really good at talking about myself. I'd rather just talk about football. But originally from Southern Arkansas, small town on the other side of Texarkana. So a lot of time growing up, would come over on the Texas side at times. But yeah, small town, and grew up playing almost every sport but football. And played baseball in college for 3 years, and then the final year I decided, okay, well let's play football. I always wanted to coach football, so I was like, let's play football 1 year in college. Anybody that'll pay me. So I found a small Division III in North Dakota that had lost the game 105-0 the year before.
Wow.
To a team that won like 2 games, and I was like, man, surely I can play there if anywhere. So I went up to North Dakota, played a year of college football. I had an opportunity from one of our coaches had, I guess, spent a season in Europe, got me connected over there, and had a team in Switzerland take a chance on me, and then ended up playing about 14, 15 years in Europe. And
Yeah.
From connections that I made there that led to a few playing opportunities in the States when I was a little bit later in my career, and led to a good connections, good coaching career, and now I find myself here.
Now, yeah, you've had quite a career, not just as a player, but now as a coach as well. To kind of discuss some of your time as a player, of course, you played for you played over in Europe, right, for numerous teams there. Tell us a little bit about some of your experiences and teams and things that you did over there as a player.
I mean, it was a really cool thing, because when I got on the plane to fly it was Basel, Switzerland, my first year. That was the first time I had ever been on a plane in my lifetime. So, being from a small town, I think it's something that I'd never envisioned ever going to Europe. I don't think any of my family members have ever left the country. And I played in Basel, Switzerland year one, and then that led to several stints in Finland, Spain, Serbia, Poland, Denmark, Italy, Czech Republic, Germany, Romania, Iceland. And so got a chance to play in several countries, some for several years. And it was, for me, it was just a cool thing, getting the opportunity to see the world. And like, I don't know if I enjoyed the travel and the experiences and just getting cultured as much as I really love football. So I don't know if I like the football or the travel more, but I consider myself completely blessed. And then through my career, it gave me the opportunity to really meet some great coaches and really well-connected people. And again, like I say, everything that I've done leads me to here, and I couldn't feel more blessed being here as well. So
And
it's a great opportunity.
That sounds really cool. Not just the travel aspect of it, to go to so many different places, so many different countries, but just to play over there and to have those fans, that primarily love soccer. Of course, they refer to it as football over there, but to be in that type of environment, I'm pretty sure a lot of those environments kind of felt like a soccer game sometimes.
It's really diverse over there, American football, in a sense that from the level of play to the fan support to how the country sees the sport. I'd be in countries where I'd say I play American football, and you hear they'd say, "Oh, rugby," and I'm like, "No, American football." They're like, "Oh, yeah, you mean rugby?" And it's like,
different perspective, right?
Yeah, and they didn't even understand the difference between the two sports, but they just knew it was people that didn't get in trouble for knocking someone down, getting a yellow or red card, or whatever it is. But no, it was really, from a playing standpoint, I thought it was a really cool thing, because you might play a team that one of their linebackers played 4 years in the NFL, Another was a Division I starter, and the third is a 38-year-old plumber from that can't speak a word of English, or his 19-year-old son. And so it to me, that's the true definition of semi-pro is Europe, where in the States we say semi-pro, which is actually amateur. But semi-pro there is truly that you get a real mix. So on the field, you really never knew what you were going to get, and from a, I guess the way that the average fan there views it, I said some don't even understand what the sport is. But then you go to Germany. If you're playing at the highest level there, you might have 5 to 10,000 at every game. Whereas Serbia in 2019, which is my last year playing in Europe, in the national championship, we probably had 300 people.
Yeah.
So it's just everything from the level of play to the coaches to the fan support is just completely diverse and differs from team to team, country to country.
And you, your accomplishments there as a player, for what I understand, about 3,700 yards, or I'm sorry, 37,000 yards thrown, over 430 touchdowns, 11 MVPs. You played in championship, so quite a number of accomplishments in your play there. What about as a coach? Now you transferred from just being a player into coaching. Tell us a little bit about your coaching experience.
Yeah, well, I finally got so old that they wouldn't let me throw the ball anymore. So
got to stop sometime, right?
Unfortunately, I mean, I still have that itch, and every year I think like, oh, maybe I'll go back and give it one more year. But I think that you get to that point where you know that you're not going to go any farther than what you've been. And for me, a pinnacle of that was 2021, getting to play in the spring league, where about half of our roster had experience in the NFL, and then over half signed with NFL, CFL, or at the time XFL, USFL. And so for me, just being able to come back to the States and play on national TV on Fox in front of my parents and grandparents was, all my friends back home from my little town, that was like the coolest experience possible. So for me, I felt like I'm not going to. I remember when we won the championship game, we were in Houston at Rice, and I remember walking back on the field out of the locker room after I got dressed after, and just like kind of looking at it and thinking like, this is like the pinnacle of what I'm ever going to do.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, okay, what I can do is go to career coaching and still be involved with the sport. And so no, it's been amazing. While I was in Europe, from 2008 on, I almost every year I'd come back and coach in the States, because the season typically runs from January or February through the end of the summer in Europe. And so I would often come back, and I coached at colleges and all the way up north in like Minnesota and North Dakota, down to Mississippi, and I coached in Indiana. And I would always do that like concurrently while I was still playing my season in Europe. And so, I had a lot of experience coaching. And also while in Europe, I don't know if you remember the old Will Ferrell movie, Semi-Pro.
Oh,
where he was Jackie Moon. He was like the owner, head coach, star player, all of that. That was kind of my career in Europe, because for more years than not, I was the head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback.
Just got to play all the roles, right?
I did, and I mean that's probably why I put up so many yards and set so many records, because I wouldn't take myself out if I messed up. So, and I played long enough that I just finally all the little yards and the bad games accumulated up to big numbers.
Well, you displayed resiliency in doing so, right?
Well, I thought the dumbest thing I ever did back in 2011. I played for a team in Serbia, and we made it to the championship game of all of Europe. We played in London, and early fourth quarter, we were down by about 10. And had a running back whiff on a block off the edge, and got hit, broke like 2 different bones in my leg. And they stretchered me off the field, and that was on like second down. Then on third down, I watched our like 21-year-old Serbian quarterback just throw an errant ball, and I'm like, well, this is a big time. This is European Championship game. So I called a timeout, and who's going to tell me not to? I'm the head coach. So I call a timeout, and I hobble back on the field for fourth down. And I mean, at the time, I didn't know that my leg was broken. I just knew it hurt like hell.
Yeah. But you're going to keep going, right?
Yeah. So I get out there, and like 4th and 11, and I try throwing a comeback. And when I throw it, I collapse to the ground in agony, and the ball just sails. And it should have been a pick six, but the DB dropped it, thank God. But then I rolled around on the ground, and they came and put me on the stretcher again and took me off. And so at times there was a lot of benefits from having so many roles, and then at times I kind of screwed myself over because there was no one to tell me that I couldn't go back in.
Yeah. Well, the advantage to being so many roles sometimes at the same time is that you get a unique perspective that perhaps only you have in regards to the experiences you've had in your life. And I was going to ask you about that. Another thought you mentioned some of the difficult times you've had, breaking bones, still going in the game, but out of all your experiences, maybe it's that experience, but out of all the experiences you've had, is there, not everything goes well all the time, but is there any adversity or anything in particular that you had to overcome or you went through that really helped you develop into the coach that you are today?
Yeah, I think there's two that stand out to me right away. One back in 2012, at the end of the season in 2012, I was playing in Rome, Italy, and I popped my AC joint in my throwing shoulder. And the next season, like I went out throwing in preseason, and I just kept feeling really, really bad pain in my throwing elbow, and I mean it was severe. I literally felt like a knife was just ripping through it anytime I would even try to pick up a plate of food or throw or do anything, and ended up playing this entire season with the worst pain I've ever felt. I couldn't pick up my tablet with my arm. I just had no strength, and I wouldn't practice through the entire week. But then I'd play on game day, and we ended up going 12-0, winning the championship in Finland. And I go through this whole year of pain that nobody knows about, and then after the season, go to the doctor, and they were like, "Oh, like it was basically like tennis elbow, and there's like no tendons there," and they're like, "Yeah, whatever you've done, you're not going to be able to throw the ball at all." And I was like, "Oh, I've thrown for the last 3.5 months.
Yeah, just keep on going."
And they're like, "How could you do that?" And they're like, "You shouldn't possibly be able to do that." But somehow I got through that. So I think that was something that made me. I took pride in that, knowing that I didn't feel like I could have felt much more pain, and knowing that I was going out there every week and fighting. And I think for me, from a character building standpoint, that was something that, this is hard, it hurts, but you can always fight through the pain and go further. And so for me, that was huge. And then another was it was my last year playing in 2019, last year playing full season in Europe, 2019. And like the night before our semifinal game, I got a call from my mom that my grandfather had passed. And we were really close. My grandma and grandpa pretty much raised us. My parents worked a lot, so they would pick us up from school and things like that when we were younger. And that was so, like, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad. That was the community there that they raised us in, all like on even level there. And so that was the first person. There's been friends that have passed and teachers or things like that, coaches, but that was the first time that somebody that from the time I was a little kid had passed. And then that was getting that call and then hitting the bus like 6 hours later going to play a game. That was tough. So I think there, from like a mental growth and adversity and just dealing with that, I think that was something that was tough. And I mean, I guess through all of that, everything we do, every experience we have, we grow from it. And I mean, there's no telling how much I'm going to grow from this over over the next year, I mean, I feel like I've grown this week. They've been sending me around town so much, meeting so many different people, and I hate talking on the phone. And I've been on the phone so much this week trying to build the coaching staff and evaluating players and trying to get more people on to help me do that. So
building the team
to answer your question, the most adversity I'd had is right now. It's this week, the last 3 days. Most adversity of my career.
Yeah, no doubt you've been through a lot. Sorry to hear some of the experiences you've had to go through, but when we go through those type of things, that's what helps us build as a person, develop as a person, and grow. So, I'm sure this week you've handled it in an excellent way, but a lot of hard work goes into building a football team, right?
Yeah. I got in trouble with our sales and marketing lady today, so. Yeah. So I don't know how well I've handled it, but I'm trying. I'm trying to learn.
Well, I'm sure
every interview, everything that we do, I'm trying to learn how to be better.
I'm sure you're doing a great job with it, and the toughness that you developed and learned, the resiliency, as mentioned. I'm sure that's something that you're going to work to instill in the football team, and we hope to see that on the field reflect itself on the field as we get to see the Toros take the field. So. That'd be something that we look forward to. Now, something else that I wanted to ask you about, getting into a little bit about football, is about the offense, air raid offense.
Mm-hmm.
We know that you have a lot of experience in that. Not everybody is as familiar with that style of football or that offense. So I was hoping maybe you could tell us a little bit about your experience with the air raid, maybe describe it a little bit and tell us about it. What can the fans expect as the offense takes the field?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually kind of interesting how, like, I guess how life led me to learning and running the air raid offense. Being where I'm from in Arkansas, was a tiny town near the Texas border. And so you have the University of Arkansas that's up far in the northwest corner. It's about a 4.5-hour drive for us, which now seems like nothing. But at the time, that was like, if we would have ever went up there, my parents would have stopped. Like, we'd have stayed 2 nights at hotels on the way up there because it was so far.
Drive through Texas, 4.5 hours isn't so bad. That's almost like from here to Houston.
Well, I remember when I was about 10 or 11, we took a vacation to Mount Pleasant, Texas, to some lake that had a slide, and it's like 2 hours from our home, and it was like a huge thing. Like, we're going so far away for this trip, but yeah, there's what were we talking about there? I got myself off there.
That's okay. The air raid offense, your experience with it, and
there we
potentially
go.
What we can expect from it.
But yeah, so growing up, we didn't always have these opportunities to watch the Razorbacks because that's the pro team in Arkansas. That's all we had.
Yeah,
we didn't have that opportunity to watch them live. But what they do, and they still do it now, once a year. At the time, they did it twice. They'd come to Little Rock and play there at War Memorial Stadium. And I remember back in 1997, it was the first time ever that I was 13 years old at the time. It was the first time ever that my parents had taken us to watch a game, and we were watching the Kentucky Wildcats and Tim Couch, and Coach Hal Mumme, they're running the air raid offense. And Coach Leach was there with him at the time, and watched this shootout there. Arkansas won, of course, but they threw for like 450 yards or something on us, and I was mesmerized watching these teams just throw the ball everywhere, and all the receivers crossing, and it was something I'd never seen before, coming from my extensive experience of wing T offense only in my lifetime at that point. So I was just mesmerized by it, and then from then on, I watched Kentucky, and then when Coach Leach moved on to Oklahoma as offensive coordinator for a year, and then to Texas Tech, I became just a huge Red Raider fan, and for all of those years, and I always watched anywhere any air raid coaches were. I would watch it and had never learned much about it. And then in 2008, one of my best friends I came back. That was after my second year playing in Europe. And one of my best friends coached at a high school that had run the air raid offense. And so I went and spent like a week with with their offensive coordinator and head coach, and learned a lot about the offense from him. And took it to Europe that year, and that's when I had my best year. I threw for the most yards, most touchdowns. Everything the best year I had was my first year running the offense, and so had an idea of it. And then when I got back in like the winter, I saw that McMurray was having and Coach Mummy was there at the time, and his son Matt Mummy, they were having a clinic in Abilene, and so I drove down. My brother at the time he was living near there, running. He runs a lot of. I guess he starts up Brookshire's franchises, and he oversees Brookshire stores. So he was there. So I went there. I stayed with him, and then I went to this coaching clinic. And Matt Mummy, Al's son, was kind enough to spend a lot of time with me after and just answer any questions that I had, like maybe anything that was missing in my understanding of the system. And through that, over the years, as I followed, I would get emails, and I would email Coach Mummy sometimes, and he was always very helpful. And in 2015 at the AFCA convention, I met Coach Mummy, and he had remembered me from just some emails and things like that. He asked me to be on his XM radio show at the time, and so went to that, and we did that interview. He had a lot of questions about Europe, because by then, I've been playing for 8 or 9 years in Europe, and I've ran in his offense for the majority of it. And afterwards, stayed for dinner at the hotel with him, and while we were there, he offered me a job on his coaching staff at Belhaven University in Jackson, Mississippi at the time. And from then, that built that relationship with Coach Mummy, which I'm very thankful for, and it's led me to meeting so many other great coaches and people. So I'll always be very thankful to him for that. And he was a great mentor for me.
Yeah. If you're going to learn from somebody, what a great coach to learn from. Just an excellent offensive mind. So
Absolutely. I mean, it's I think if you judge somebody if you judge him by just overall success, wins and losses, then there's a lot of coaches you could put in front of him. But if you judge by the overall impact that he had on the game with the no huddle offense, and then just the guy that's going to play fast with no huddle, like 2-minute drill all the time, and throwing the ball all over the place, I think he's, him along with Coach Leach, are two of the most influential coaches in the history of the sport. And so to have firsthand experience working with a guy like Coach Mummy and getting to coach under him, and then even in the spring league, having kind of a dual role of being a player coach with him, it was just an amazing experience. And that kind of carried into even last year. I got to work with Manny Matsakis, who's run and shoot guru, and that's probably the top 2 passing offenses that exist. So when you combine both of those, which there's a little bit from both that we'll be doing, and you're going to see a no huddle offense that spreads the ball out. We want to get it evenly to all 5 playmakers, so we don't want to give it to that running back 30 times and throw to this receiver a time or two. Actually, at halftime, one thing I've always done for years is we will look at it. We have a touch chart, and we'll see the X, H, Y, Z receiver, and then our running back, which we call the F for feature back. We'll look at that and we'll say, okay, well, this guy's touched it 8 times. He's had it 7. He's had it 6. He's had it 7, and he's had it once. The Z's had it once. So we're going to probably come out and run like a quick screen to the Z right away, maybe like a shallow, something that's simple that we know we can get him the ball. Because the whole thought process of our offense is we want the defense to have to defend us vertically, horizontally, and have to be accountable for every single skill guy that we have on the field. And if you have a quarterback that can be a bit mobile, then you add a 6th man that they have to be accountable for. But I mean, really, you can look at it as basketball on grass, or maybe even look at it like the old school option offenses, where you never know who's going to have the ball, but everybody's going to touch it.
Yeah.
So it's really a ball control offense that we want to be high in completions, throw the ball short to guys that can catch it and be athletes in space and go make bigger plays.
Sounds like it's going to be a very exciting brand of football that we're going to see on the field. Now, and with the Continental Football League, of course, we're going to have the continental shift in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter. How do you see the air raid fitting into that? And what do you think the fourth quarter is going to look like?
Well, it's pretty wild. It's something that's led me over the last couple of weeks since I have been brought on to the Toros, looking at a lot more Canadian football because I've seen clips. I've maybe watched some highlights. If I see a big play that's on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's never been. I've never sat down in my life and just turned on the TV and watched a Canadian Football League game. There's, and just I guess for anybody that doesn't understand what the continental shift is our league is going to play for 3/4 of NFL football, NFL rules, and in the fourth quarter we go to these Canadian rules.
Yeah.
Now they play with 12 guys on the field. We'll stay with 11, but outside of that, some of the changes you'll see is you got 3 downs instead of 4. You can have up to 2 guys, I believe, motioning full speed towards the line on the snap. There's different rules as far as alignment of the defense. For example, the defensive line have to be a yard off the ball.
Yeah. Reduced play clock, I think, as well.
Yeah, play clock goes from 40 seconds to 20 seconds, which honestly is not going to affect us because we play fast anyway. I mean, for us, that's great. Now, something that I just heard about yesterday that I wasn't sure about, but one of the coaches that I've been talking to about possibly coming on staff with us has extensive NFL and CFL experience. And he was telling me something along the lines of in the final 3 minutes of the game, the clock stops after every play. Now, I don't know if that's true, so maybe I'm lying to you, but
we'll have to see.
But if that's the case, all that I'm sitting there thinking is, man, we could throw the ball like 15 more times right there.
Right, get a little bit more time.
Yeah, so I'm just like, man, this, we're going to get an extra 100 yards passing in the last 3 minutes of the game, 100, 200 yards. So,
wouldn't that be awesome? Well, it sounds like however this works out, however the games go, the fourth quarter is going to be particularly exciting for all the Toros fans and everybody at the games. It's going to be a great time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so you've told us a good amount about yourself. You told us a little bit about what we can expect as far as the play on the field with the offense. I guess one last thing I'd like to ask you is you've been here in the San Antonio area. Just maybe a little bit about your experiences here in San Antonio. Have you got to go to any cool places, landmarks? Have you got to sit down and enjoy some Mexican food anywhere? What did you enjoy eating? Tell us a little bit about what you've enjoyed so far in San Antonio.
Yeah, like I say, this trip I got here on Monday, and so it's been really about 3.5 days that I've been here right now. I know the first night we had I think it's 54th Street Bar and Grill, and food was good there. That's when I got to meet a lot of the management and people involved with this that I had never met previously in person. We went to Italian restaurant Milano's. That was really good. I had a mix in there. Got to meet a lot of people that I think could be help. There's things there that could be helpful for our organization. Last night we drove pretty far out of San Antonio. I don't even know where it was. I just know my GPS. It took me like 45 minutes, and we went to a really nice restaurant, Mexican restaurant that escapes me. The name.
What do you get? You get some enchiladas, some tacos.
Yeah, I got some different tacos last night, and I mean, I'm typically my diet's probably 95% meat.
Yeah,
I'm typically
some beef fajita,
pretty much carnivore diet. But last night, Josh, our president, he always tells me that here you gotta eat tortillas with everything. So got tacos last night. Got a bunch of different tacos, and I got through one or two, and then I had to like unfold them and just start like eating the meat out with. And I cut it in a taco in half with the knife, and Josh was giving me hell about that. So I guess I don't really know the etiquette of how to be a South Texan yet.
Taco etiquette. I love it.
But they did bring out a little piece of cheesecake and sing happy birthday to me last night and put a sombrero on my head.
Yeah, I hear there's a good picture of that floating around somewhere. I don't know.
yeah, that's I mean that's something I guess they can use against me at some point if I'm not acting right or not winning games. So
yeah, just
better
win.
Get the job done.
Just win. Yeah. Well, that sounds like you've had a really good time so far, and you know, we can't express enough our appreciation for you being here.
They're taking me to the Riverwalk tomorrow night.
Are they?
I'm excited about that.
All right. Well, I hope you have a great time on the Riverwalk. It's really nice down there, particularly at nighttime. You get to see all the lights, boats go through. It's really beautiful down there when it's lit up. So I'm sure you'll enjoy that as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, Coach, we appreciate you sitting down and taking the time to talk to us or talk to me, and I can, I guess, speak on behalf of all of the Toros fans that we're excited about the season. We can't wait for the season to start and to see, you know, how the team develops and what you do with it. We look forward to that. Thank you for sitting down. And for fans, hopefully in the near future, I get the chance to also sit down perhaps with other staff, maybe some players, get to interview them. So if that's a possibility we can take advantage of, you know, keep an eye out for those videos. But for today, we look forward to the Toros, and we'll go ahead and end this episode by saying just go Toros.
Vamos Toros.
Vamos Toros.